Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm so happy to have you. If you're my previous subscribers, welcome back to the channel. So for today's video in particular, we're going to be talking about birthright citizenship in the United States. This was a submitted question by one of you guys who went to the community post and submitted this question. So that's what we're going to be covering in today's video. Anyway, as you guys may have known, I got rid of my classic red shirt. We are now in the color of communication via the throat chakra. It's all about I speak. We moved away from the grounding color, which is the root chakra color, and now we're full blown into the throat chakra region. And that's why all the other videos going forward now entail me wearing this specific color blue so that I can speak more fluently to you. We talked about the foundation, we laid the foundation. All the videos that where I wore red were the foundational videos. Now this is the speaking videos. So it's all about intention, the color intention. Anyway, this video is just for entertainment and educational purposes only as well. This video is being recorded on Monday, August 11th at 7:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as and when I'm recording this specific video. For those of you guys who want to help out the channel, you want to help it out grow, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, engage with the content, share this video with others, really help boost the algorithm here on this YouTube channel. Plus, we also do have a notification thing. So if you want to be notified and stay in the loop when I do post and upload, go to the description, follow my Blue Sky account and my Facebook group if you want to be notified when I do post and upload. However, we do also have some things I do want to acknowledge you guys for, as we do this every week, every Monday specifically. Community Spotlight, and for those of you guys who have done just that to help the channel grow, and I want to make sure that you have the recognition and say, hey, listen, I appreciate you. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Those who were featured this week is Nancy Dixon, welcome back. We have Albany's Ben Agram. I have a feeling I mispronounced that, so I do apologize in advance. We have Equal 333, welcome back. We have here Mama Bunny, welcome, you're new. And also Tara Singh, welcome back as well. However, you guys have a lot of you guys who I've noticed went on the feature week at least some point in time. I do want to make sure that you guys feel that your knowledge as well. So I'm going to go through the list of other names because all of you guys mean so much to me, and this channel wouldn't be here without you. It's not just my channel, it's our channel, and that's why I intend to do. And as you all may know, I don't really try to push donations. I don't really try to force you to give me money, anything like that. I really very relaxed and I just chill. And this is what the channel is. The channel is meant for really for you to understand the story, because other people out there are using you guys just for money. I'm not here for money, and that's not what this channel is for. So we have here, I want to acknowledge Angel Shining, Doris Sellen, Dennis Thomas, Fish Picture, James Lawrence, Social 1961, Virginia Taylor, Dennis Tucker, Tracy Wilson, Gypsy Flame, Nighthawk, Julie M64, Egypt, Barbara Warwick, Prana Ivana, Oxford Cat, Cam Gallas, Rondell Threadgate, Cindy Resend, Brenda C., Arlene Forney, I think I've mispronounced your name, I apologize, Sarah, Taurus 16, Search for Truth, J/Melissa, Via_Airship, L. North Singer, Lars Studio, Extreme Brands, Lauren Paul, Joshua V, Nurse, Bonita De Rosa, Sinopoli, Mars 333, Laura Granero, Denny Bay, Deb Tusky, Pat Turner, Violet Val, Lemonade Bernie, Quarter de Lion, Annabeth Doran, Johnny Hero, Fred Morris, HWY138, M. Johnson, Mary Burrows, It's Me, Pork, Bonero 77, I apologize if I mispronounced that, G. David, Charlene Gilbert, Jill Hedges, and Ronnie Mendez. Thank you all of you guys for those of you guys who have been helping the channel in some particular way. I just want you guys to know that I greatly appreciate you and I support you, and thank you so much. Anyway, let's go ahead. Let's talk about birthright citizenship. This is a question submitted by you, so let's get on with it. This is not a long intro, but I just wanted to make sure that you guys felt like you were acknowledged because I see you. So thank you. Anyway, let's go to the comment. We have here Lindsay Hickey. Thank you again. We're doing another video of yours. We have here, you asked the question, is birthright citizenship going to be gone or will it survive? That's a great question. I don't really know much about birthright citizenship, so this early part of the video is going to be all about the blind reading of birthright citizenship, and then the second part of this video is going to be entailing more detailed understanding about birthright citizenship and what that's going to look like, and try to understand it more deeply. Let's get on with that. Okay, Spirit Angel, tell me about birthright citizenship. Will it survive under Trump? Okay. We have the answer here already. No. No. Birthright citizenship is over. We have the Queen of Pentacles reversed. No. Because in birthright citizenship, if based on my understanding, I'm going to correct myself later in the video, but the Queen of Pentacles, isn't birthright citizenship, but like if you're born in the country, you're automatically granted American citizenship. This is reversed. This is a mother giving birth on a piece of land, right? But it's reversed now. It's not guaranteed that you'll have birthright citizenship or citizenship in the United States. It's the Queen of Pentacles reversed. What's on the top of the deck? We have the 8 of Swords here. It's saying that there's too much obstacle. There's a blind spot or a loophole in the system that's going to be exploited when it comes to birthright citizenship. So as of right now, the current formation of the birthright citizenship and its laws and everything surrounding that, the question you're asking is, if birthright citizenship going to be here long term? The answer to your question, simply put, no. Because the current form is not going to be able to sustain itself because of loopholes within the system. However, let's take a look. The first card that comes in here is the 10 of Swords. It automatically gave me backstab, betrayal. It came to an ending. The 10 is an ending cycle, right? If you were to ask somebody to hold up their fingers, how many fingers would you have? It would be 10. About 95% of the population would have 10 fingers, unless they have the missing fingers or they have deformities or something like that along those lines. But most people have 10 fingers. And so 10 fingers means completion. You can't go beyond 10 unless you have an additional thumb, but most people don't have. But again, 10 is the ending number and a start of a new cycle. When it comes to the 2 of Wands here, there's looking outwards for revisions. I'm hearing the word blood a lot, so I feel like if anything, it's going to be revised based on blood history. So whoever what they deem to be considered American via blood. What's it going to be very difficult to tell, because how could you tell whether or not somebody has American blood when there is no true form of American blood? America has always been a melting pot, so it always confuses me how they come to this conclusion. We also do have here up here as well, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this always means to me, the 8 of Wands symbolizes reverse, uprooting. Something being uprooted from the original foundation, right? So what does birthright citizenship mean, plainly put? Plainly put, when it comes to birthright citizenship, it's talked about a guaranteed. So if you're born in the United States, you're guaranteed to have citizenship within the United States because you were born here, in essence, right? But is saying here that was a promise. But as everybody knows, you can never make a deal with the government, because the government will always be the one that always disappoints you. It's never the one that can uphold its end of the bargain. You may do everything right. But that doesn't mean the government will do everything right in their power to make sure that they meet you halfway on that same promise. And so what does this 8 of Wands symbolize to us? What does this 8 of Wands symbolize? Well, it symbolizes uprooting. And remember, when you have birthright citizenship, you're starting a family here. You're starting a new life. But the foundation is being uprooted and being forcing you to take out. So what does this indicate here? It indicates, again, immigration, ICE, migration, traveling, stuff like that. That's what this symbolizes. It symbolizes movement. It doesn't symbolize stationary anymore. And here you have it, it makes sense, because what's the next card that follows? It's not stationary. It's not somebody sitting on a chair or anything like that. It's the 5 of Pentacles. And what does this mean? People will be forced to walk away from everything that they only know. It's like taking, the best way I can describe it is to take a puppy from its mother and to shove it into a home that is in unfamiliar territory. Because they say, well, if you take the puppy from the mother's going to miss the puppy, obviously. but the puppy is not going to know the mother. And so essentially it's the same concept. You take a puppy, you put it somewhere else, but if just say the owner is a really terrible owner and decide to dump the baby or the puppy onto the streets after just say 10 years and it became a senior, in hindsight, the only thing that puppy knows and grew up as a senior dog was that family life. It doesn't know how to survive because it didn't have its proper mother to teach it how to survive. So in essence, I know this is a very weird analogy here to use, but it makes perfect sense because it essentially is saying, the moral of the story, what I'm trying to say here is that if you were to displace somebody into a different area and then dump them afterwards, they're going to feel lost, they're going to feel confused. They're going to want back in because that's all they ever know. So what does this feel like? What is this telling us? Is that it's very possible that birthright citizenship could be used as a strategy to get others to submit themselves to the government, to submit themselves to things that they otherwise would not submit themselves to give them trauma so that they will be more likely to give in. So what does this mean? Well, essentially, it means is that if the government wants to achieve a goal or an idea or an agenda, it might use birthright citizenship in a way to force people into what's called the Stockholm Syndrome. Essentially, that's what it is, the Stockholm Syndrome, and that they can't see out of this blockage. And because of that, they're able to use these people in any way and any form they like. Slavery, sex slave, doesn't matter what it is. What matters is that they're going to use people who are so lost, who have no family outside of their own home. Or at least they thought they were home here. These people are going to become desperate. And I'm seeing a lot of desperation, and the government's going to use those people for whatever means necessary. I'm also hearing enlisting them. I'm hearing the word enlist. So possibly getting them to do something that otherwise they may have never considered in order to try to be accepted so they don't lose their way of life. And that's really what I'm getting from a blind reading when it comes to birthright citizenship. Now we're going to back this up and try to see what is really birthright citizenship and kind of get the better, deeper understanding. I'm going to tell you what birthright citizenship is, and then we're going to learn together what that is, and then we're going to do one more last reading and we'll end today's video. Okay, so let's ask, what is birthright citizenship? Okay, so birthright citizenship, what is it? Well, it says birthright citizenship, especially in the U.S., is a legal right to citizenship for all children born in a country's territory, regardless of parents. He wants to amend the Constitution to remove birthright citizenship. So essentially what it's saying is that anybody who was born in the United States or anybody born on American soil is considered an American citizen regardless of blood. Okay, that's really all it comes down to. That is what birthright citizenship is at its most simplest form. And it's exactly what I thought it was, exactly how I explained it. But we're going to just ask one more time to see if the information matched and confirmed with what we just talked about earlier. Spirit Angels, tell me about birthright citizenship. What is the future of birthright citizenship? Now that we understand the original meaning and the intentional meaning behind birthright citizenship, what is the intention of birthright citizenship in the United States? Okay, there's a challenge here. Okay. What's the top of the deck here? We have too many different ideas, too many distractions. This is the Seven of Cups, different idea. When the government undergoes different ideas and undergoes a new ideology, it also changes its current structure of government. So in this aspect, what is it saying? It's saying birthright citizenship is one of those things that change with every new form of ideology in government. I don't know if that's true, but that's according to what Spirit is saying. Underneath this, we have the Lover's card. The Lover's card is meant to card disunity, to card disown, disdoubt. I'm hearing the word disdoubt specifically. And what is it telling me? It's telling me here that it's meant to be used as a mechanism for nationalism. That's what it is. It's used as a megaphone for nationalism. And what does this mean? What is the future of birthright citizenship? As you all may have known, if you have been with me for quite a couple of years, or been a couple of months, or even a couple of days, if you've been watching a couple of my videos, you might be familiar with this card. The Ace of Swords to me symbolizes taking that sword and shoving it through the throne, shoving it through the owner, or shoving it through an idea or a concept. So we're asking about what is going to happen to birthright citizenship. The Ace of Swords is simply telling us that the birthright citizenship is practically over. You're taking the sword and you're ending it. You're taking it through the heart. You're ending the system at its roots. And that's why you have the king here and the leftover leaves. It's not connected to the tree. It's not connected to the tree of life anymore. Instead, you're taking it and you're cutting it at its foundation. And what's behind this? The Wheel of Fortune. It goes backward. Right? It goes backward, going back to an idea, former concept. Now, to further understand what's going on with birthright citizenship, we have the Knight of Swords. This tells me there was a major attack in the past, probably in the 1900s, late 1800s. I'm getting those two specific pinpoints here. Attacks on birthright citizenship in the United States, particularly. There was attacks, but it was failed. But there was movement here. There was Ace of Wands here, and the Ace of Wands is the ability to cause new change. But it needed one thing. Although the government was behind this, it was in support of this, the government didn't have a new ideology. It didn't change hands. It was still very much in democracy's hand. It was still under a democratic, Republican type of scenario. When I say Republican, I'm not talking about the Republican Party. I'm talking about the Republic ideology of the United States. And this is the Ace of Wands here. The Ace of Wands is that the government may have wanted to institute this, but it didn't have the proper ideology to execute the plan. However, these two cards here are separate from these two. For some reason, they separated themselves. And the next card that comes up is the High Priestess. And the High Priestess is the card that symbolizes the Constitution. We never had talked about the Constitution and how they plan to terminate the Constitution or revive the Constitution. This is the High Priestess. The High Priestess said that the birthright citizenship is no longer guaranteed, despite what the Constitution said. It's going to be rewritten or reinterpreted according to the Supreme Court. So if you're hoping this to go to the Supreme Court will voice their opinions and revise their opinions against the U.S. Constitution. And we do also have here, as well as we have the Eight of Cups here, and the Eight of Cups simply symbolizes walking away from the truth, walking away from the values. And here is Donald Trump walking away, and he took a cup. So there should have been 9 cups. Instead, there's 8 cups here, and he has a cup walking away with this cup. He's walking away with his victory. And it's telling me here that this is one of the many pillars that he plans to take away from the American people. So if you're thinking that this is going to be an outlier, it's not an outlier. Because why? When somebody takes a cup away, they're always going to come back for more. Because look at how many he could take. Right? Look how many he can take. This is not going to be the last one. This is going to be the first stepping stone. I'm getting the word that he already took 3. He had 3. He had this one now. If he wins this, he's going to have the next one. But there was 3. There was 2 here and then 1, making a full triangle. Which basically means that if this was 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there were 12 in particular. How many? 13 Bill of Rights. I want to see how many amendments are in the Bill of Rights. Just out of curiosity here. Bill of Rights. Oh, so there's actually 10 amendments in the Bill of Rights. That's actually really interesting in the U.S. Constitution, which means that you can take a little bit more than what the Constitution guarantees for every American. It's going to be very interesting to see how that's going to play out. I also want to verify with the Google here and see if there was any point in time in the United States where U.S. citizenship, birthright citizenship, was challenged in the past. Was there ever a time in U.S. past that started to challenge birthright citizenship? Oh, yes. Okay, so there was one. Okay, so let's read it. Okay, so yes, birthright citizenship in the U.S. has been challenged on multiple occasions throughout history. Here's a breakdown of significant moments. Dred Scott versus Stanford in 1857, the Supreme Court ruled that individuals of African descent, whether enslaved or free, could not be U.S. citizens. This decision was later overturned by the 14th Amendment. Wong King, Arc, 1898. The Supreme Court affirmed that a child born in the U.S. to Chinese immigrant parents was a citizen under the 14th Amendment, establishing a precedent for birthright citizenship regardless of the parent's nationality or immigration status. Chinese Exclusion Act in 1882. This act barred Chinese laborers from entering the United States and becoming U.S. citizens. World War II and the Japanese-American incarcerations. Japanese Americans born in the U.S. were subject to forced relocations and internment. This basically means concentration camps. Contemporary challenges. There has been a recent attempt to restrict birthright citizenship, primarily focused on children born in the U.S. to undocumented parents. So, essentially, yes, it has been around the time period where I said it was late 1800s, early 1900s. Seem to be on par with what I just said. Alright, so yeah, so the spirit was right. That was accurate. I did not know that personally, so that's actually pretty interesting, pretty cool. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. I'll see you guys next video. Thank you. I love you.